Hi, this is Patricia from Trisha's Lovely Creations, and today we're going to make some Halloween jewelry. Here I've got my Mega Blade from tinypandora.com, and I'm using my Tiny Pandora mat, and I'm just going to cut along my silk screen here from ojewelrycreationsinc.com. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be creating tiles for a tile bracelet here. And what I'm doing is creating as many as I can from one sheet. And I'll get 4 out of this one. And I'll probably make another 2 just to make sure I have enough tiles. So here I'm going to make another slab to cut out a couple more tiles. So here I'm just smoothing out my piece, making sure I have no air bubbles or any ripples in it. Now I need to peel the backing off of the silk screen. So I'm going to do that. You kind of got to get your fingernail in there. And that will eventually separate. Ojor Creation silk screens have a sticky back, so they really stick good to the clay. And today I'm using my Gold Deco Art paint for my silk screen on black clay. And I am using Primo, by the way. And now I will just squeegee that across my silk screen. I like to go up and down and side to side. That may not be necessary, but that's what I do. And now I'm just going to peel my silk screen off of my clay. I'm going to take that and immediately toss it into some soapy water, hot water. And I'll clean that up in just a little bit. It'll be okay sitting in the water for now while I cut around my design. Now I don't have a cutter that fits this, so I am cutting it all by hand and hoping I get it as close as possible on every one. Was not very straight on that last cut, so I'm coming in and trying it again. I love my Mega Blade. It's great for coming in and picking up clay without leaving marks and stuff behind. Here I'm using another silk screen that comes with the ones I was using for the tiles. I'm going to make a pendant as well for this bracelet. Now I'm going to add my paint just like I did on the other one. Grab my squeegee and then run it across it. And I do this in different directions just to make sure I get it all in there really good. Now I'll peel this one off and I will set it in water to soak while I'm cutting out my shape. Gotta make sure my placement is just right here. I don't want to lose too much of the acrylic hues at the end. And that looks good there. Grab my acrylic block, make sure I get a nice clean cut. Twist it a little bit here and up. Then I'll use my Mega Blade here to get it off the mat, and I'll put it on my baking tile. Here they are, all done out of the oven, and I have baked them for 30 minutes at 275. So now I'll grab my Mega Blade and just start popping them off the tile. They shouldn't be too stuck since I didn't cut them on the tile. I just laid them on there to bake, and they're not very stuck at all. So that's good. I've got some clay I'm going to roll out on my thickest setting on my pasta machine. Got a little bit of something in my clay. I like to roll it first before I put it in there so it's not too thick. And then I'm going to texture this for the backing. I have a filter sponge that I'm using. And I'm just going to roll it with my acrylic roller. Move it around just to make sure I get a good design in there that I like. There we go, that looks good. So I'm just going to get this unstuck from the mat. And I'm going to flip it over. Okay, so what I've done here is I've cut it in half so I don't mess up a whole sheet trying to get one of my tiles done. So here I've set my tile on there, and I'm going to run along the edge and cut out my backing. So now what I'm going to do is grab my bag of long headbands here. And they're a little wonky, so I just need to straighten them out a little bit. And then I'm going to kind of embed it into the clay backing. And push it down in there pretty good. And I'm doing a 2-hole tile, so I need to do the bottom one as well. So I just kind of want to see how it's going to set there. Looks good. So now I will get out my poly paste and put a little bit on the baked piece. And you don't want to put it on real thick, you just want a nice thin layer because you just want it sticky. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my piece of clay here and I'm going to set it on top of my tile. And I'm just going to straighten that up, pressing it down onto my tile. Making sure it's on there good and secure. Then I'll worry about lining it all up. Now I'm going to start pushing these edges in and get it all lined up. Okay, and I'm just going to take my finger here, my fingernail that is, and push it down around the head pins. That way I don't have it poking up at me. Okay, it looks pretty good. There's the back. Just a final squeeze here, making sure I'm all good. Making sure everything's all lined up where I want it to be before I go and bake it. Okay, and I think that's got it. So that one's good for baking now. Okay, and now I'm gonna work on my pendant here. So I've got it imprinted already. And I just need to cut it out and put it on the front of my pendant. Using my mighty blade here to get it off the mat. And now I will add some poly paste to the front and put the backing on, excuse me. Okay, and that's got it. Now we're going to put the back on. And I'm just going to squeeze it on there kind of and wrap it around like I did the other one. Making sure that it's on there good and secure and it's all even. Because I don't want any overhang. That would be bad. Okay, now they're out of the oven and I'm ready to pull out my head pins and we'll start working on the sides with the Jessama smear. Okay, I think I'm going to start with the round one here. Get out my black clay. Again, that's Primo Black. I'm just going to grab me a chunk here. And I'm going to roll it up and get it nice and warm. I'm going to put on my little finger coat here because that helps it not stick to my finger. It works very well to do the Jessima smear with one of these on. So here I'm just warming up the clay, rolling it around, getting it warm. I'll make sure I got it really warm. Makes it a lot easier. I'm just waking it up here. Okay, now I'm going to start the Jessima smear. I'm going to put the clay on there and I'm going to push down and I'm going to pull it. And I'm just going to go around the whole pendant doing that. Sorry, it's so out of frame. So what I'm doing there is just getting the extra bits off the edges that go over the top and the bottom. And I'm just kind of smoothing it out as I go along. So I've got some bumps where I've made them match up. So I got to get that smooth. Okay, now I'm going to warm up the clay so I can do another pass. I'll roll it up into a ball again and make it into a little log. Start where I left off, pushing, pulling as I go around. Again, I'm sorry I'm not very good in frame there. Again, smoothing it out, and the more you have it really super smooth, the better you can take your buffing wheel and just buff it out without even sanding. And it turns out beautifully shiny. I know I seem to be taking forever on this process, and I am. But like I said, the smoother it is, the better it turns out. Take your time, work on it, and it will be really good. Okay, and we're just about done here. It's looking really good. It's shining up really nice. Nice and smooth. Now I will work on one of the tiles for you to show you how I do that one. And I'm doing it the same way as I did the round one. I'm going to press it on there, push and pull. And I like to clean up the edges as I go. Make sure I don't miss anything that way. And for each new pass, I like to warm it back up, put it into the log, and start a new section. Sorry, I'm not in frame here, but I'm doing the same thing as I did before. And I think I'm going to go ahead and speed up this process for you. I mean, you've pretty much seen it on the round one, but I thought I would add this one too. I won't make it too fast, but faster. And I think that's just about got it. When I'm done, I will pop these back in the oven for 35 minutes at 275. Alright, they are done and out of the oven and cooled off. Now I need to try to find my holes that I put in here and reopen them. There's the back, come out really nice. There's the sides and the front. I think they came out really nice. So now to find my holes. And I'm just going to use my drill and see if I can fill a soft spot. And hopefully not mess them up. And it's a little challenging trying to find the hole. Just pressing my drill bit in there to see if I can feel it. And I think I got it. I missed on a few of them and had to try to fix that. But it came out in the end. That's all that matters. Okay, I just about got it, and I'll be back with adding the resin after I get all these done. I'll be right back. Okay, they are done, and now it's time to resin, and today I'm using Lisa Pavelka's Magic Gloss. And I have to tell you again how much I love this stuff. I really wish I would have tried it a long time ago. It's very easy to work with. The bubbles come out just boom. It's nice and smooth. It's a wonderful product. And you can get this at tinypandora.com. And I will have the link in the description below. And I'm starting with the edges first, like Trisha Salgado, Pandora, because it helps it keep it from pulling away from the edge. So that's where I learned how to do this. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm done with the pendant. Now to work on my bracelet tile. And I'm going to do it the same way. Starting with the edge first and just pulling it all the way to the very edge. Now, in case you're wondering what I have underneath my little tile here, I am using the Tiny Pandora UV Curing Deck, and it slides right in and out of her UV light. I love it. Wonderful. It's so much better than the other bottom that was on the light. Just making sure I got everything, giving everything a last look here. Making sure I'm all the way to that edge. Looks good, so now I'm ready to put it under the light. Okay, and here they are, all finished. And now we will fill in the rest of the space here. And again, we'll need to pull that to the very edge. And I've sped this up so it don't take me forever in the day, because it takes some time. You want to make sure you have everything good and covered, especially that edge. Okay, and it looks like I might need a little bit more, so I'm just going to put a little bit more on there. You'll see I got a lot of bubbles with that squeeze, but when I take the lighter to it, they'll come right out, just instantly. And that's what I love about Lisa Pavelka's Magic Gloss. And here I'm taking the lighter to it, and they just popped instantly. I mean, you barely got to hit it with the lighter, and it comes out well. It's actually a little torch lighter is what I've got, and it works beautifully. Okay, and the pendant's done. Now I'm going to work on the tile for the bracelet, and I'm doing it the same way. Hitting all that in there, pulled over that edge, and then work the middle. That's how I do it. Okay, then I think I'm going to hit it with the lighter here. Get rid of them bubbles. Making sure I've got everything pulled to the edge. That looks about good. Double checking my pendant to make sure I've got it all pulled to the edge. Hit it with the lighter again, make sure I got all the air bubbles out. And into the light it goes. And done. And somehow I forgot to hit record when I buffed the sides and the back. But here you can see how shiny they are. And sorry I missed that. I just go over it lightly with my Dremel and the buffing wheel, and they come out really nice. Okay, now it's time to start putting things together here. Okay, now I'm going to drill my hole in my pendant, and I'm going to use a pinch bail on it. Okay, and now I'm going in back in my hole through the back, trying to refine that hole as best I can. I'll go through the front again, trying to make it just a tad bit bigger. Now I'm going to use my little drill master here because it's got a bigger drill bit in it. Not much bigger, but a little bit. So I want that hole just a little bit more bigger. And I'm doing it the same through the front and through the back, refining that hole. Okay, now I have my pinch bell and I'm just going to pop that in the hole there, pinch it closed, and we're done with that. Okay, now I'm going to use my Acuflex here for the bracelet. I wanted to use elastic cord and make a stretch bracelet, but I could not get the cord through my holes. So I am using Acuflex, and I'll put a toggle clasp at the end. As you can see, I'm having some trouble getting my Acuflex through the hole. So I'm going to take one of my head pins and just push it through to make sure I've got all the stuff pushed out of it. And here's some little clips from tinypandora.com also. And I will leave the link in the description box below. Now what these do is hold everything in place, so while you're making your necklace or bracelet, what have you, your beads don't go all sliding off in one direction and right off of your cord. So I really love them. They're great. So I'm using some black and gold crystals here. Um, I believe they are 8mm. And I think they fit really nicely with the black and gold tile beads. So I'm just stringing them here. That's pretty much all I'm doing. So I'm going to speed this up. And I'm having a little bit of trouble getting it in there. And I'll need to take one of my head pins and push it through to get all the junk out of the center that is left behind from drilling. And my cord will pop right on through. And that's all there is to that. Alright, now I'll take my other set of clips here, put them on this end. And what I'm going to do is try it on and see where I'm at. Okay, and I'm just going to pull this through, take these off so I can add my crystals to this end. Okay, I've got my charlottes out. Now I need my crimp beads. Can't forget those. Okay, so I'm going to take one of my charlottes here and I'm going to put it on. Now I'm going to pick up one of my crimp beads here. Put my cord through. Squeeze. Tighten it up as good as I can. Make sure it's good and on there. Then I'm going to tug on my charlotte to make sure it's good. And it's good and tight. Now I'm going to close up my charlotte. I went a little crooked there. That's okay. It'll straighten up. So I use my pliers to get everything all back together and lined up. Making sure my hole's lined up there. Squeeze it together again. And that's good. And I will do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now I'm going to put the charlotte on. Grab me a crimp bead. Squeeze that. Squeezing it real good on both sides to make sure it's good and locked on there. Give it a tug. Make sure it's good and secure. Close it up. Use my pliers. Line everything up. And squeeze. And we're good to go. And now repeat this on the other side. Okay, again, I'm going to start with my charlottes, then the crimp beads, and this time you want to pull it all the way down to the charlotte, and then trim your wire off, if you remember to do that. Anyways, you don't want it too tight because then your bracelet's not going to move freely, and as you can see here, I got mine too tight. It's not moving as free as I want it to. Okay, and now I'm going to add the toggle clasp. I already did the other end, but here you'll see I had to take it apart and redo it. It just wasn't long enough, so I had to add some chain. So I'm just adding that on there, and I'll close up my jump ring. And this is a 4mm jump ring I'm using. And then I will do the other side, hopefully not getting a twisted chain. It sucks to get it done and then have to take it apart and redo it. So there, I tried it on and it didn't fit. So now I'm going to take this apart and I'm going to add some extension chain to extend it a little bit. I believe I cut out like four lengths, maybe 5. I can't recall. So I'm just going to take this apart and add the extension chain on here. So now I got the chain on there and I will just add the toggle clasp back on there. I got me 2 more 4mm jump rings. Okay, what I'm doing here is making sure that my chain is laying right for the other side without twisting. So I'll open up my jump ring, put it through my chain, pop that through the hole, and I'll check it for twisting. Looks fairly good. Double checking everything. And I'm going to try it on, see what we get. And there we go. Come out really nice. I think it's very pretty, very Halloweeny. Okay, now we'll finish off the necklace. I'm going to add 17.5 inches of my cord, and I am using rat tail. I'm just measuring it off and cutting it. And I'll put it through my bail. And I will get out my crimp ends. Got me a toothpick for my glue. So I'm just going to take and put a little bit of glue on the end of my toothpick. trimming off the end of my cord so it's easier to go into the crimp end. And I will cover that in glue. And I'm using E6000, by the way. So I'm just taking it and rubbing that on the end. A little bit more glue. Making sure I got it all good and covered. I want a fair amount on there. And then I will take and twist on my crimp bead. My crimp end, excuse me. There we go. And I would do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now that's done. We will now finish the necklace off by adding the jump rings and the claw clasp. Okay, and here I've got my 6mm jump ring. I'm going to open that up. Put that on my crimp end and close that up. Now I'll take my 4mm jump ring and I'll open it up. And I'll put it on my other end with the claw clasp. And I'll close it back up. And voila, we're done. There we go. And I decided I'd like to have a matching pair of earrings to go with this bracelet and pendant. So I'm going to make try to make them look like little spiders, little spider earrings. I thought that would be really cute. I should have had them dangling from a chain, but I didn't think about that till just now. So I'm just putting them on my head pins here, getting them all set and ready to go. They're cute. I think they're pretty. They'll match nicely with the bracelet and pendant, I think. So I'm just going to bend that over. And I'm going to cut the excess off here. I use kind of the width of my finger to measure where I need to be. I'm sorry I'm so out of frame here. There we go. And just twist that back over. So I'll do the same thing here. Take my pliers, bend it over. Using my fingertip there to measure, I will cut it off about the width of my finger. Kind of in the middle of my round pliers here is where I put it. And there we go. Now I will put them on the ear wires. Pardon me. I'll put them on the ear wires now. So I'm just going to open up my ear wire by twisting. slide the earring on there and twist it back closed. There we go. Alright, see how that dangles there? Very cute. I like it. I think it'll look cute with the bracelet and pendant. So I'll do the same thing on this one. I'll just take my needle nose pliers. I will twist the loop open, slide on the earring, and twist the loop back closed. And that's all there is to it. And that's it for this tutorial. So if this tutorial was helpful to you in any way, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I have a Facebook group called Trisha's Lovely Creations. Hope to see you there. Thanks. Have a great day.